Now, Pisces, I see that in the past, can be recent past or it can be further in the past. Something happened maybe in your home life, maybe with your partner or your spouse, or maybe with your children, or with your own mother figure, or with another woman that you just looked up to and appreciated. And there was something that happened in this relationship, okay? And you had to make some type of sacrifice. Either you've let go of this relationship, or you feel like some part of that relationship deteriorated and you're wanting to correct or make amends. But it hurt you deeply, whatever this was. This can even just be, for some of you, there was something that you were working on, that you were waiting for it to come to fruition, and you felt very confident that it was going to be so, but then something catastrophic happened, or a sudden shocking event happened that made you reevaluate the situation, and maybe you're now seeing that the initial idea or plan behind whatever it is you were trying to manifest wasn't going to work out the way that you had hoped or desired it to be. So this month, what we're seeing is you're going to act more in a very rational sense. You're going to look, you've been through something, and now you kind of have your boundaries up a little bit, but at the same time, you're not done trying. You're not done trying to make this work. And you're going about this in a new way. And whatever way that you choose to go about it, it's going to be more prosperous for you. It's going to pan out better than what it would have if things had worked out the way you initially planned for things to work out. We have, for some of you, new career opportunities, new job opportunities, new ways of making money or manifesting material wealth for yourself. There's a change this month that signifies whatever you've had to sacrifice in the past and whatever you've had to let go of. Either you've worked very diligently at finding a new way to manifest what it is you desire, or you've completely let it go. And because of that, there's going to be a dramatic change, a positive change, which leads to you being successful at obtaining what it is that you want to obtain. One of the messages here is, this is about you, and it's just the word like hustling is coming to my mind. Like you're going to hustle to get what it is you want. You're not going to let your emotions overwhelm you any longer, because whatever happened in the past, it was heartbreaking for you, right? You had such high hopes and you were so confident that things were going to work out a certain way, and they didn't. They fell apart in one way or another. But because in the month of December, you're more in your head than in your heart space, you're analyzing, you're strategizing, and you're implementing, you're taking action towards correcting a situation or manifesting what it is you want. You've been indecisive about how to do this. And we see that maybe in the beginning of the month, you're still kind of indecisive about how you're going to proceed. But by the middle of the month, you're going to have a clear set of direction about how you're going to make things work. And there's going to be celebration about it. And I feel like you're actually going to get recognized. For some of you, this is at work. Maybe a boss disappointed you, or maybe you were promised a promotion, and you were so confident that you were going to get it, but something happened where it fell apart. And you were planning on this, you were banking on it pretty much. But I feel that the way that you deal with this Empress, this could be a mother, you could be the mother, you could be a wife, who had some type of, some type of situation that fell through at home, maybe with a spouse or maybe with your children. But for some of you, again, this is just something that you were waiting to come to fruition and it didn't happen. But now you're dealing with it as the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is, he's a very analytical, strategic planner. He's very much in his headspace. He doesn't allow his emotions to make decisions for him. He kind of puts out all of that on the back burner. He's just focused on the facts, the black and white of a situation. I know what I got to do to get what I want. And he has this sword, it's raised. He's ready and willing to wield it if necessary. And that's going to be where you're at, very strong-headed. And that's good, because that's going to lead you to the kind of luck that's going to obtain this Ace of Pentacles for you, okay? This fresh start. In a very material sense. And when I say material, I mean a new job, a new home, new car, new beginnings in your material world, even new relationships. For some, it can be a mending of this relationship where it's just a fresh start in this relationship. And again, I'm seeing that there's going to be some type of recognition for your efforts. And there's a reward for your efforts by the end of the month. You're going to be recognized and acknowledged for this, and there's going to be a reason to celebrate. Okay? Let me look at this with the clarifying cards. I want to look at the Three of Swords first, just to see what that is about. Again, it's a general reading, so it can be different for everyone, but Three of Swords. So, we have the Priest. This can be talking about, I feel like somebody that you trusted. This is someone that you had held in high regard. You had a lot of faith in this situation or in this person. But they made a move which caused some despair, some hopelessness within you. Maybe they left, it can be like a partner who left, or a child who maybe there was a conflict and they left the home. Or, you're finding out about a situation that, again, isn't going in the direction that you want it to go in. And there's this despair, this hopelessness. We see that with the Two of Swords here, having this indecision about which way to go now because you're feeling that sense of despair. With the Three of Swords. And I see that this has already happened, I feel. If this hasn't happened, it'll be something that happens really quickly at the beginning of the month. But by middle to end of the month, you come out much, much brighter and much happier than the beginning of the month. I want to look at the Emperor here. Wow. Yeah. For some of you, obviously, if this is relationship based, this is a marriage, some type of contract or an agreement that you have with someone. And there's a reunion of sorts happening in this relationship with a lover. For others of you that this isn't relationship based and maybe it's work related, there's this contract or agreement that you had with an individual. There's going to be a reuniting with this individual, and a reuniting in the sense that, look, you're discussing You're discussing things on a very logical, rational level with this Empress. You're appealing to their better nature, okay? I don't feel that they were necessarily malicious, but when you approach this person and you advise them of how what they've done has impacted you, without being too emotional based about it, it's more coming from a rational place. And when you speak to this person, they're going to see things differently. So again, if this is work-based, there's this contract or agreement that took place. You're reuniting with this person, and the lover card can really just symbolize a renewed sense of trust or confidence. I feel like this person didn't necessarily, again, they weren't trying to be malicious, but when they acknowledge the fault or wrongdoing that they've done, they reestablish themselves in your life. Okay? So that's what I have for the general reading. I'm going to move into the singles. We'll see what's coming up for you single Pisces for the month of December. Ooh. All right. We have the Queen of Cups, the King of Cups, ooh, the Seven of Swords, the Chariot, Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. Gosh, a lot of court cards here. Judgment. The King of Swords. My goodness. Okay, and the Emperor. Then we have the Nine of Rods. So for you single Pisces, okay. Either, I want to say this is what I'm picking up. There's another water sign that you're dealing with, whether you're male or female. You're dealing with another water sign, whether you have been dealing with them in the past and they're presently in your life, whether you're just casually dating or you're getting to know someone, or this is someone coming in for you the beginning to mid-month, okay? And I feel that this person is being deceptive, okay? Because they're actually involved with other people. And they're not letting you know, and they're not making you aware that they have some emotional connections with other individuals. Possibly an earth sign, so a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. I feel that you, if you're a female Pisces, you're wanting to move forward in this relationship, but this deception will come to light in the beginning of the month. So I feel that you're going to be letting this person go. Because again, I feel this is your energy coming up as the King of Swords. And you're kind of just for the month of December, you're acting in a more proactive way. You're not waiting for events to happen to you, but you're rather taking action to manifest and create the life that you want for yourself. And for you singles, you're very much about being rational and logical this month and saying, you know what, I need to cut ties where I need to cut ties, and I need to be honest with myself about where things are. I'm not going to allow my emotional bias to affect my decision making. And you're taking control of your own life. There's something here about you just don't trust this other person, and you have every right to not, because again, by middle to end of the month, you're going to see that this person's not honest. They're not being completely honest with you. For you male Pisces, I feel that there's 3 women. Okay, so we have a water sign, a fire sign, and an earth sign. And I can't say for certain if any of these individuals are being deceptive, but the message here is to be honest with yourself. Again, don't allow your emotions to impact your decision making. Rather, try to be logical and rational and look at it like a business transaction. I know that sounds very unromantic and what have you, but sometimes it's important to be as objective as possible when making emotional decisions so that we can be honest with ourselves and not wear the rose-colored glasses, right? So just keep an eye out for the next several months, because I feel like 3 different women are around you. And the water sign can be someone from your past. I feel like it's someone from your past who was deceptive with you, and you're kind of on guard now about relationships as a whole. And if that's the case, this woman, if she's already come in, then there's 2 women. We have a fire sign and an earth sign that are coming in. I want to look at the Emperor here. Yeah. When it comes to love and romance, you're worried about someone being deceptive with you. This is the enemy card. Someone not being completely honest, because there's secrets, or you're afraid they're keeping secrets. So yeah, there's something here about, gosh, you gotta be very smart about this. Don't get too emotionally attached right away. I feel the fire sign female is going to be very charming, okay, and try to persuade you. And you just got to be a bit, I hate to say it, but kind of cunning. For female water signs, or for female Pisces, yeah, there's just something here about this person, this male water sign, whoever he is, whether he's come in yet or not, he's not being honest. He's getting around. And be on guard, be smart, just like I said for the male Pisces. There's something here about dishonesty. Let's look at the 7 of Swords here. Yeah, see, look. The 7 of Swords is the card of deception. This person comes off as very playful, spontaneous, fun. Maybe you really enjoy being with this individual, but there's a surprise that comes about and it brings sorrow. So just be on guard. Take your time and relate. Don't rush into anything. Just take your time and get to know people. That's what dating is all about, right? Is before we get emotionally attached, we have to kind of try to stay as objective as possible. I'm going to do a reading for the coupled Pisces. Pisces. Sorry, for some reason I can't shuffle tonight. Okay, we got 2 cards that flew out. We have the Wheel of Fortune, 2 of Cups, the 9 of Rods, the 5 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, the Fool card, the Page of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. And then we have the Ten of Cups underneath. All right. So I see two messages here. The first one is some of you, there's been some heartbreak in a relationship. I feel like it could be a relationship where you're on and off with an individual. Some of you are married, but there was some type of heartbreak that came about, and it was a bit of a shock. It wasn't expected, obviously. I mean, but it was something that kind of came out of the blue. And now you're struggling emotionally to find balance in this relationship. It's like, you know, up and down, up and down. There's a message here to not allow your anger or frustration to overwhelm you in this situation. But you're feeling hurt, you know, you're on guard, you're on guard, you're not trusting your partner. But by the end of the month, we see that you may decide to break away from this relationship and be more independent. And for those of you who this applies to, you're going to be much happier single than in this relationship because it hasn't been that healthy. And I feel like you're wanting a fresh start. You know, you've been struggling for a long time with this person. And again, I'm getting like an on and off situation for some of you, hot and cold. And I feel like you are just really going to decide by the end of the month that, you know, you're going to have to move on. Now, for others of you, what I'm seeing is there was heartbreak in the past. And emotions have been up and down, and they'll continue to be up and down probably till the middle of the month. But maybe you've been apprehensive or afraid to discuss your issues with your partner and how you're feeling. You kind of kept it to yourself. But I feel that if you open up and you actually discuss things with your partner, it's going to actually turn out for the better because you're going to gain this strong sense of self-confidence, and your partner is going to be more aware of, you know, what needs work in the relationship. So I see a new beginning for some of you. I feel like, you know, for some of you, this is a situation that's involving children too. Maybe there was some type of disagreement regarding children, or there was a disappointment with children. But I just, you know, either way, for those of you who are leaving a bad relationship, or for those of you who have that discussion with your partner and you both agree to work on the relationship, by the end of the month, there's this strong sense of self-confidence because you know in your heart you did the right thing, and you have a strong conviction. Whereas, you know, in the middle of the month or the beginning of the month even, you're feeling like you're riding the emotional wave, you know, an emotional roller coaster. By the end of the month, we see that stop. Probably the third or fourth week of the month, I want to say. So I'm going to look at this a little bit more, and I want to look at the Nine of Pentacles as the outcome card. Yeah. So see, what we see here is there's a message. So there's some type of communication. You may be communicating with your partner and letting them know where you stand. And instead of being your own foe and standing in your own way by not being open and honest, we see that this person comes in and says, I want to work things out. I want things to work out for us. So let me see what I can do to help this relationship. Okay? I feel like you're thinking the worst. It's almost like you feel like you can't speak up. But once you do and you stand in your truth, this person acknowledges your hurt, and I feel they're empathetic and they're sincerely sorry for whatever they've done, and they want this relationship to work. So again, it rebuilds and establishes that confidence. Let me look at the Two of Pentacles. Wow. Well, maybe for some of you, there's two people here. Maybe you're married, but you also have a lover and a husband. And you're making a choice this month about who to choose. And for some of you, the person you're choosing is a water sign. And I want to say for some of you, though, this doesn't have to be where there's two partners. It can be a wife and a husband situation, and then there's some authoritative figure that maybe it's a counselor, I would even want to say, or it can be an attorney. But there's something about seeking outside help, and it reaffirms or reestablishes the relationship. And for those of you where you're leaving this relationship, this Lord card comes in to say you're basically taking ownership of, your responsibility in this decision. So it's, you're recognizing that if pain continues, if this relationship continues and you're in pain from this relationship, you're owning up to that, ultimately you're responsible for you and how others treat you. So if you stay in this relationship, you're just allowing someone to take advantage of you and hurt you, which I don't see you doing that. It's like you're finally gaining your confidence back. This Lord card and the Nine of Pentacles was really speaking to me about self-confidence and self-awareness and making the right, appropriate decision for yourself. Okay?